The voice of the drum calls. It sings a song of those who came before us and those to come. A song of survival and strength. A song of participation and voice. A song that calls us together. When we come together and participate in the 2010 census, we use this tool as the voice of all our Native people. Our voice. It is in our hands. 2010 census.
And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Thursday, May 6th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. Here are the news stories for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The president of the Lower Sioux Indian community has praised the United States Supreme Court decision last month refusing to hear the case of Sheldon Wolfchild versus the United States, calling it a good news for the tribal community. The court's action effectively ends the lawsuit. This lawsuit created terrible conflict among family members, strained our relationship with our fellow Dakota tribes, and fanned the flames of envy and greed, said LSIC President Gabe Prescott. The Wolfchild suit alleged that the federal government acted improperly when it gave land to the federally recognized Shakopee and Prairie Island and Lower Sioux tribes that had been promised to the Mdewakanton Sioux after the Dakota conflict of 1862. The members of all three tribes, known as the Loyal Dakota, are primarily of Mdewakanton descent. Sheldon Wolfchild served briefly as the tribe's president. During his tenure, he pushed the Lower Sioux Council to become a party to his lawsuit and to pay his personal lawyers with tribal funds. In 2009, a new tribal council voted to withdraw from the suit, a decision Prescott said had strong support from community members. Prescott said the lawsuit challenged the sovereign rights of tribes to establish their own system for membership and put the basic principles of sovereignty to risk. 4 Oklahoma tribes have come together to develop a national award honoring Native American leadership in various disciplines and disciplines that reflect excellence in tribal nation building. The Cherokee Nation, Chickasaw Nation, Choctaw Nation, and the Muskogee Creek Nation are soliciting nominations from all federally recognized tribes for the 9 awards listed below. The awards will be presented at a ceremony on November 1st in Durant, Oklahoma. And you can get more information at the drumawards.com. All nominations must be received by June 21st. Number 1, Health and Science Award, 2, Lifetime Achievement Award, a Tribal Governance Award, an Environmental and Cultural Award, a Defense of Sovereignty Award, an Economic Self-Reliance Award, an Arts and Entertainment Award, a Patriotism Award, and an Educators Award. And yesterday, the governor of Wisconsin on May 5th signed into law the Indian Mascot Bill, which encourages school districts throughout the state of Wisconsin to change their Indian mascots to something different. Yesterday, we talked to Richie Ploss, and today we have a couple more interviews on the subject with State Senator Spencer Coggs and Barb and Chris Munson, members of the Oneida Nation of Wisconsin.
Senator Coggs, can we, a mascot bill passed the House, passed the Senate, Governor Doyle signed it into law. You've been there all the way through this process from the beginning to the end.
Oh yeah, for many years, especially with the Special Committee on State Tribal Relations, we have heard students come before our public hearings and complain about nicknames, mascots, and logos. And to a great extent, it's been because the legislature had been in the hands of 2 different parties. You know, sometimes the Assembly would be Republican and the Senate would be Democratic, and then other times the Assembly would be Democratic and the Senate would be Republican, and we just never could get this passed. But even more than that, we just couldn't get people to listen to the pleas of the people. Are we still there? I see.
Yeah, I'm still here. You're looking fine. This has got to be almost.
I just lost the picture, so
okay.
As long as you can see me, I'm fine.
I can see you fine and hear you well. This has got to be almost a 25-year process. When I was in the governor's office, 1982 to 86, with Governor Earl, it seemed that the American Indian Study Committee at that time was beginning to talk about the process.
Absolutely. And you had people like myself and Representative Frank Boyle who were paying attention to this, but we weren't getting a lot of resonance across the rest of the state. And to be honest with you, even to this day, there was an article in the paper on Monday, and it presented the opposition's argument before they presented our argument, and we got something like 300 blogs. 90% were against this, and they were extremely untrue, and they were extremely motivated by ignorance, not understanding what the bill was supposed to be doing. Okay, so it was good to be here for the bill signing because I was in a room full of people who understood how important this bill is to Native Americans, but also to the state of Wisconsin, because this bill is shining a light on a shame that has happened and been perpetrated in this state for so long, has been perpetrated in other states for so long. So today we righted a wrong, and I am glad to say that the people who helped us also turned out to be a number of students. And they weren't just students of color. The students from Prescott were of many nationalities, and we gave them several rounds of applause because not only did they come here for a history lesson, they were part of history.
Indeed. Sometimes that legislative process is exactly that, a educational process. And I suspect that over the years, you've made a lot of friends in the tribal community, and because of that, both communities understand each other a lot better.
Well, yeah, I guess you can tell by looking at me. I come from a mostly black, a predominantly black background. And what's interesting is we don't have a Native American legislator who could have championed this issue. So what you had was you had a person of mostly African American background and another person of mostly Polish background coming together to help the original inhabitants of the state of Wisconsin. And like I say, the students from Prescott, they came in all varieties, both genders and all nationalities. And we all were united today. For the first time, I got a chance to see Barb Munson cry. That was interesting.
After being tough for many, many years.
Oh yeah, she's been tough for a number of years, but she was uncontrollable today. She was a mound of jelly, and she kept wondering when the governor was going to come in to sign the bill. I kept telling her, he's going to come in, he's going to sign the bill. And she was trying to figure out if there was some way they might trip him and he couldn't come in, and that kind of thing. And we assured her, and then after he signed the bill, she still had this look of wonderment on her face, because for a lot of people, we thought this bill may never come to fruition. It reminds me of a number of black people who thought they'd never, ever see an African-American president. Well, this was that kind of day for many Native Americans and for a longtime legislator like myself.
Okay, Senator Coggs, thank you for talking with us today. We really appreciate it. I'd like to get Barb on if she's down there.
I think we could get Barb out here.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, just real quick, a quick plug for myself. I'm running for Lieutenant Governor. And so because this is such a fantastic day, we got this bill passed. We have an African-American president. Why not have an African-American Lieutenant Governor, right?
I'm on board, Spencer.
Here's Barb.
And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to thank you all for joining with us. Stop by again soon. Miigwech.